Nadia had exactly 11 minutes before she had to pick up her daughter, and her co-workers chose that moment to ambush her. She was standing at the kitchen counter on the third floor, waiting for the coffee machine to stop being dramatic, when Claire appeared in the doorway with the kind of smile that meant someone had already made a decision on her behalf. "We did something," Claire said. Nadia looked at her. "Is it reversible?" Claire laughed too quickly. That was the answer. The plan, as it was explained to her over the next 4 minutes, was this. There was a man. His name was Daniel. He worked in the building across the street, which somehow made it feel organized and official, like a business deal with feelings attached. He was a friend of Claire's husband. He was 41. He was kind, Claire said, in the specific way she said that word when she wanted it to carry more weight than it usually did. He had a son. He had been on his own for 3 years. He was, according to Claire, the type of man that good things happened around. Nadia sipped her coffee. "You already made a reservation." "Friday, 7 o'clock. Claire slid a small card across the counter. The restaurant name was printed in letters that suggested the kind of place where the bread arrived warm, and the menu had no prices. "It's already paid for. Both of you. So you can't say no for money reasons." "I have other reasons." "I know you do." Claire's voice softened. "But you also have Friday off. And I've already told Mia's after-school coordinator you'll pick her up at 4. Nadia stared at the card. The restaurant was called Lennox. She had walked past it twice and never gone in. "You talked to the school." "I just adjusted the pickup window." There were 5 other people in the kitchen. They were all very interested in their phones. Nadia picked up the card. She folded it in half and slid it into the front pocket of her blazer, next to the receipt from the dry cleaner she had been meaning to use for 2 weeks. "Fine," she said. Everyone exhaled. She was out the door in 40 seconds. She drove to Mia's school the way she drove everywhere, with the radio off and both hands on the wheel. She had learned to keep the car quiet, not because it made a difference to Mia, who could not hear the radio anyway, but because the quiet helped Nadia think, and thinking was the one thing she had been trying to do less of lately. Mia was waiting outside the school's main entrance, sitting on the low brick wall with her backpack in her lap, and her hair coming loose from the braid they had worked on together that morning. She was 7 years old, and she had her father's forehead, and Nadia's stubbornness, and a way of sitting completely still that made her look older than she was. She saw the car. She jumped off the wall. Nadia got out and crouched down, and Mia's arms came around her neck, backpack banging into Nadia's shoulder blade. "Hi, baby," Nadia said, even though Mia couldn't hear it. She said it anyway. She had always said it anyway. Mia pulled back and signed with quick, loose hands. "How was your day? Did you eat lunch?" "You always forget lunch." Nadia signed back. "I ate lunch. It was good." It was a partial truth. She had eaten half a granola bar at her desk at 2 in the afternoon, but the intention had been there. Mia gave her the look, the same look Nadia gave her own mother, when the answer was too smooth to be honest. They got in the car. Mia put her backpack on the floor and immediately pulled a drawing out of it, holding it up for Nadia to see at the next red light. It was a house with a yellow roof and a tree that was taller than the house, and a dog in the yard that they did not own and had not ever discussed owning. Nadia looked at it, signed, "Beautiful." "Whose dog is that?" Mia signed, "Ours." Nadia signed, "We'll talk about it." Mia signed, "That means no." Nadia did not respond to that, which was a different kind of answer. At home, Mia did her homework at the kitchen table while Nadia stood at the stove making pasta. It was the 3rd time this week they were having pasta, but it was Tuesday, and Nadia's ambition for cooking peaked on weekends and declined from there. Mia had never once complained about pasta. This was one of the many ways Mia was better than most people Nadia knew. After dinner, Mia had a bath and Nadia sat on the closed lid of the toilet, and they talked in sign while steam filled the small bathroom. Mia told her about a girl at school named Lucy, who had tried to talk to her by shouting very loudly and slowly, as if the problem were volume rather than sound itself. "What did you do?" Nadia signed. I signed back. Mia signed. She didn't understand that either. We laughed. Nadia signed. "Good." She meant it. Mia had figured out very early that the funniest thing about being deaf was other people's attempts to fix it. She collected these moments the way other kids collected stickers. When Mia was in bed, Nadia sat at the kitchen table with the restaurant card in front of her. She looked at it for a long time, not thinking about the man. She did not know enough about him to think about him yet. She was thinking about the logistics, the way she always thought about the logistics first. Friday was a school day. She could pick Mia up at 4, get her home, get her fed. Then what? She couldn't leave a 7-year-old alone. Her neighbor, Patricia, sometimes watched Mia in the evenings, but Patricia had been visiting her daughter in Cardiff and wasn't back until Saturday. She put the card down. Then she picked it up again. She had learned a long time ago that there were 2 ways to bring Mia somewhere new. She could call ahead, explain, give whoever it was the information they would need to manage the situation, or she could simply arrive and find out, in real time, who a person actually was. She had stopped calling ahead. There was more information in a first reaction than in any prepared response. A man who had been warned behaved differently than a man who was surprised, and Nadia had become very good at reading the surprise. She looked at the card. Lennox, Friday, 7 o'clock. She would take Mia. She had not decided this yet in any official way, but she knew she would take Mia the way she knew most things about herself, quietly and without needing to say it out loud. It was not a test, exactly. She had told herself for years that she did not do tests, but she had also told herself she would call ahead, and she had stopped doing that too. She put the card back in her pocket. She turned the kitchen light off. Friday was 4 days away and she was not going to think about it until then. She was very bad at this. On Wednesday, she told Claire she would go. Claire made a sound that was too pleased to be polite. Nadia did not say anything about bringing Mia. Claire did not ask, because Claire was assuming she had arranged a sitter, because that was what a reasonable person would do. Nadia was reasonable in most areas of her life. On Thursday evening, she curled Mia's hair at the bathroom mirror. This was Mia's favorite event. She sat very still on the little wooden step stool, watching herself in the glass with total concentration, like a person witnessing something significant. Nadia worked section by section, slow and careful. The curling iron was old and the cord was too short, and she had to crouch slightly to get the angle right, but she had been doing this long enough that her body knew the positions automatically. Mia watched the mirror and signed without turning her head. "Are we going somewhere fancy?" Nadia met her eyes in the reflection. "Sort of. Yes. Can I wear my blue dress?" "It is a restaurant," Nadia signed. "So yes. Will there be dessert?" "Probably." Mia signed. "Good. Then we should go." As if the dessert had settled the question, as if that was the only relevant information. Nadia finished the last curl and stepped back. Mia turned her head left, turned it right, made a face that expressed complete personal satisfaction. Nadia looked at that face in the mirror and felt the thing she always felt when she looked at Mia in moments like this. It was not a simple feeling. It was large and warm and slightly painful around the edges, the way big feelings sometimes were. She signed, "You look beautiful." Mia signed back, "I know." The restaurant card was still in her blazer pocket. She had not told Claire about Mia. She had not called ahead to Lennox to explain anything. She had not texted Daniel, because she did not have Daniel's number and was not going to ask for it in advance, because that would make the whole thing feel more real than she was prepared for it to feel. She got Mia's blue dress from the closet. She laid it out on the bed. She went to her own room and looked at herself in the mirror for a moment, and then she got changed, and then she stopped looking. She was not hoping for anything. That part is important.